All right, it's another day in the garage. Got the 4.8 on the stand. To this point, obviously heads are off, lifters are out, that kind of stuff. Last thing to check, I guess it's a common LS issue, is if the cam bearings are usable. And all I mean by that is when I take the cam out, are the cam bearings going to stay in the block or come out of the block? So far, had the first common LS issue, which is the worn push rods. No big deal. We can replace that and replace the rockers. But got to get the cam out and see just how bad it is. Hope I get lucky. Cam retainer plate, and that's the oil seal between the galleries. That's why they always say to replace it when you change a cam, although I've seen people not. I work with O-rings pretty regularly, and if you don't feel a raised section here, it's flat and it's really not doing any sealing. So that'll be replaced every time, as far as I'm concerned. Because why have an oil leak or internal oil leak? Now, I know water pump bolts are the bolts to use to take the cam out easier, but I'll have to go get those bolts if I need them, because I put them in a Ziploc bag. Actually, let me go get them. Alright, so I got a couple of the water pump bolts, and yep, they thread into the cam perfect. Alright, see if we get lucky and the cam comes out without any bearings. Attached. So far so good, I think. Go. All right, got lucky, or at least I didn't run into any problems. All the cam bearings are still in the block. I'm going to look at them, even if they say don't, and they're still in there, so they're going to get used. All right, next thing I'm going to do is drop the oil pan, and I'll do it with the engine right side up, or at least try to. All right, should be the last one. That's it. And the oil pan gasket is junk for sure. All right, getting down to the end of the teardown, or at least as far as I'm going to go. Going to get the oil pump pickup out of here. One 10mm bolt going into the oil pump. Couple 13s here for the pickup. And I will not be using this oil pan or this pickup, because it won't fit in the car. O-ring feels good and tight, so that's good. This one has the larger O-ring. It's actually the green one, but it looks black because it's dirty. But from everything I've read, if the oil pump pickup has like a step in it or a notch, this has like a step, then you use the thicker O-ring, and if it's smooth, you use the thinner black O-ring. All right, so that's out. All right, take the windage tray off. This I may need to reuse and just trim it. I'll have to find out. I bought, because I don't have a TIG welder yet, I'd like to be able to shorten the truck pans to work, but I don't have a TIG yet, so I bought an eBay oil pan with turbo drains that's shorter. I don't know if it comes with a windage tray or not. I'll have to look. All right, so this guy is an 02. So these are the Gen 3 rods, which is fine. Like I said, I don't plan on beating the snot out of this thing so bad. I mean, I'm going to gap it, but, you know, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, I would think that it would work. All right, with the oil pan all off, I can take the oil pump off now. And everything, I think about this, everything I'm doing here is just because of the turbo. It really is. I've done so many engine swap cars. I would never take any of this stuff apart. You got a good running engine, you just take it out, drop it in, and you're off and running. All right, timing chain. All right, now it's time to get these pistons out and actually see what the ring gap is. All I'm going to do is take the rod bolts out, take the caps off, knock the pistons out. We'll see what the bearings look like, and then we'll check ring gap. All right, just finishing up the removal. I'm on the last piston. All the bearings have looked good. A little bit of wear, nothing bad, no digs, no scores. Crank looks great, no issues. So it's so far so good. And we'll see how it goes, but so far no issues. So no need to pull the crank or anything like that as far as I'm concerned. I mean, come on. It's a 4.8. Too much light. But the bearings look good. Very nice. All right, all the pistons are out, and even you can still see factory crosshatch in these cylinders. Pretty crazy with the newer engines how that works out. So here's all the pistons and the rods. Unlike small block Chevy, big block Chevy, you really don't have to worry about marking the rod caps because they're cracked caps. And they only fit together one way. It's kind of impossible to do it wrong. When they're in the right spot, you can't even tell there's a parting line there. You turn them around the other way and it's very obvious that they're wrong. Plus the wear mark on the outside there, the rod is different side to side. That also makes it easier. So before I pulled these out, I just hit them with a little bit of brake clean and numbered them, so I know what cylinder they go in But other than that, normal dirt. The rings are all free. The oil rings are a little caked up and dirty. I'll take all that apart and clean it all up, clean the pistons. But first, I'm curious to what the ring gap was. Because if it comes back at like, 25 thousandths, I didn't even have to take this apart. But let's see. All right, cylinder number 1, top ring is set in the bore. I have my feeler gauges set at 28 thousandths. It's a 25 and a 3. And it's right in there. No problem. Pre-gapped for boost. Isn't that nuts? I'm not even going to see how big it is. All I know is 28 fits. You can see, open that a little bit. Too much light, hard to see. There you go. 25 and a 3. So there's 28,000. So I wanted 28 and 30. Now we'll see what the ring number 2 looks like. All right, ring number 2, I'm at 28. Fits in there, no problem. It's just moved out of the way there. But anyway, so it looks like ring number 2 is about 29. It's at least 28, but it's not 30. But that's not worth messing with. That'll be just fine. So we got a 28 top, figure 28 on both rings. If I come back with 28 on all my rings, I never even had to take this engine apart, which I guess this is just some confidence that once it's done, I can turn it up. But I'll let you know. I'm going to gap all the rings, check them all anyway, and I'll let you know if any of them were too tight for boost. All right, all the ring gaps are checked. And I basically used 28 thousandths as a go or no go. And I only had one that I had to file. That lower one there was at like 27. So I just filed it out to 30. But everything else is 28, 28, 29. That one ring was 29. That's great. I mean, that's fine. I don't need any more than that. I don't plan on running Monster Boost. But at least with that ring gap, I know I can run, heck, I could probably turn it up to 15 pounds if I wanted, but we'll see how it goes. It was good to pull them anyway because a few of the oil control rings were pretty stuck in the pistons. So pistons need a good cleaning, rings need a good cleaning, and after that, I think we start slapping it back together. I have to order some gaskets, and I'm still on the fence about the whole reusing your head gasket thing. Part of me wants to do it just to try it, to see if it actually works. I mean, it goes against everything I've ever been taught. I will say that. That's for sure. But I know I'm going to reuse the head bolts. I'm going to try that. So I don't know. Maybe we will try using the gaskets. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. You'll know by the next video what we end up doing. But for now, we have all the pieces and parts there. Motor's on the stand. Get some stuff on order, and I'll be using the old dingo ball hone on the cylinders, even though they still have factory crosshatch. I'll give them a quick hone, and we'll start reassembling.